Leeds TV. Hopefully you can hear us okay. Joined by Hannah and Paul Wilson, and we're back at it. It's back again. The pain of being Leeds United, the pain of the Championship has returned after 3 years. Yeah, we know the rest. We were horrific last season, and this is the season to make amends for things. We're just going to talk about the season in general, guys. How we're feeling going into it. Are we frustrated? Are we excited? Are we a bit of both? Are we scared? Are we any emotion? We're all sorts of emotions being Leeds fans. Let's get into this one anyway, guys. Let's start with Hannah first and foremost. How are you feeling going into this season?
I'm not very optimistic. I don't think we've done enough signings-wise, and the whole obviously loan situation. It frightens me going into the Championship just because of how many games there is as well. And it just sickens me that we're back in the Championship. I just hope it isn't for very long. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having it back, but I'm not feeling overly confident about it.
Okay. I'm pretty similar. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty similar to that. Paul?
Normally, I'd be pessimistic, wouldn't I? I don't know. I think I'm worried about the start of the season, definitely. But I just think these signings are going to come. I do. I think they're going to come thick and fast as well, because I don't think these new owners are going to really want to mess around in that league. And I think we'll be shocked by the end of the transfer window. I think we'll have signed a lot of players. I really do. So, yeah, I think we'll be all right in the end. I think it'll be a slow start, but I think we'll be fine.
Okay. To be honest, I'm thinking similar. I think, look, the way I look at it this season is, at the minute, we've got Sinisterra, Nonto, and Harrison as our winger options in the Championship. Which is absolutely nuts in terms of options to have. I mean, I think most teams outside kind of like the 3 relegated sides would absolutely kill to have just one of those players, never mind 3 of those players in the squad. So in terms of creativity, I feel calm. We've got a manager who in the last 2 seasons has won the league with 97 and 95 points, I think, off the top of my head. Feels okay. But it still feels to me like we've got gaps. As you said there, Paul, I'm hoping we do business because I think we need to. I think there's 3 areas for me. And I will ask you two what your thoughts are as well. I think it's left back, number 10, centre forward. I think they're the 3 big gaps in the squad. I think the rest of the squad is ready to go at it. Seriously, I think the rest of the squad is ready to go at it head first. That side of things, I think, is what's going to cost us potentially this season. I just think it's those 3 areas. I think you could talk about other areas as well. Maybe centre back, we're a little bit light depth wise. But it's those 3 areas for me. I mean, how long has left back been a problem? I mean, the fact, I've got nothing against Stan Byram. I think it's a decent, solid signing. But the fact we're looking at a right back to possibly fill the left back spot, how many times have we tried to do this? Can we not just sign an actual left back at the football club? I mean, why is this left back position such a problem for us? I mean, Hannah, are those the kind of areas you're looking at as well and thinking, gulp a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And I just honestly can see us going into the season with Bamford. And I know it's an ongoing thing and I'm not just picking on him, but we need a striker. We need a striker. It's so for me, it's just the most important position. Like, at the end of the day, we need a goal scorer. And I know what you're saying about the positions where like Cine and stuff and Somerville and all that, but are they going to be here? I don't know. I'm not confident they're going to be. And just on the Cine thing, actually, look how injury prone he is. And then in the Championship, I think it's more physical and stuff. So if he was injury prone before he came to Leeds. So he was so injury prone last season. What's he going to be like this season? So yeah, we might have these options and stuff, but I worry about.
We have to wrap him in bubble wrap. It's as simple as that. Every single game, we have to wrap him in bubble wrap.
Yeah, definitely.
Honestly, that is very true, though. I mean, it's a lot more physical in the league. You can get away with a lot more. I think I said earlier on the podcast, I think every team next season, the first 5 minutes, is going to look to hit Sinisterra with that early tackle. You know what I mean? That one you get away with without a card. I just think they're going to go for Sinisterra early doors. We've got to be wise to that as well, a little bit. I mean, that is a concern, but I just think the fact we've got so much depth in those wide areas that even if we do lose 1 or 2, we still seem pretty stacked in those areas, and we have got a lot better options than most teams at this level, I do think. I think obviously Ampadu as well, I think it's a really nice sign. I think he's been really good in pre-season. So I do feel quite good in most areas. It's just those 3 positions that are really, really giving me the panics. The fact we haven't signed a left back still. We can't possibly still be relying on Junior Firpo. And the centre forward thing is just absolute madness. I mean, honestly, there were so many. You don't even need to get a top level striker. I think there's so many strikers in this league who get us 15, 20 goals next season, no problems at all, with the amount of chances we can create. I mean, Paul, where are you at with it? Or do you think we've got in-house options already in those areas?
I think the striker problem has been a problem for 5 years. It's a really tough one with Bamford, isn't it? You can really warm to him and like him as a person and understand him, do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And he has gone on these streaks of getting goals, even in the Premier League. We've all seen it, what he's capable of. But the fact of the matter is, it was a different. Can't believe we're talking about it now, but it was a different scenario under Bielsa because we created so many chances. So he was bound to get the more goals. But I just think that relying on him again going into a new season as the main man, we've lost Rodrigo. I mean, it was Rodrigo that bailed us out last season, and couldn't keep us up and should have started more games. And now we've lost him. Joseph's on crutches today. Bamford and Rutter both got injured. I just think we need someone, I'm really sorry to say it, that needs to just say, look, you've had your time. Even if he is sat on the bench waiting to go on, that's fine. Don't mind that in this league, but we really need to. The number 9 is the one for me because we've created chance after chance after chance every season, and we just don't put them away. The stats are there for everyone to see, and yeah, we haven't defended as well as we could have done, but in this league, I don't think the defence is too bad. And I know we need a left back, and I know the debate will ramble on about Byram coming in and, other players that have been suggested to come in. But, you look at Cresswell coming back, he's had a year in. I like that. I really do. I think Aylan and Drama at right back, they're probably going to be the best 2 right backs in the league, to be quite honest with you, as a pair. I mean, and I just think that even in midfield, I mean, the talk of those 3, Harrison, Nonso, Sinisterra, I mean, again, I'm all for optimism, but I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of them are gone by the start of the season. I honestly wouldn't. Because if big money comes in for them...
Don't do this to me. That's my last bit of hope here, is the fact we might keep hold of them.
You've got to be realistic.
3, though? I mean,
I think it's possible.
I think we lose Nonso.
Nonso's playing like he's gone. Sorry, he's playing like he don't want to get in. You can see it when he's playing in the same happy-go-lucky lad. Like Hannah said, Sinisterra, what a player. Someone could bid 40 million for him. And who can turn that down? You can't turn that kind of money down. And then Harrison, again, English lad, experienced in the Premier League. It only takes one, like deadline day bid from a club like, I don't know, West Ham or someone like that, and they bid big money. He's gone. And they'll just say, we'll go with Poveda until January, and that's our club has got a history of doing that.
I agree with that. But so we've got 4 at the minute, okay? We've got Nonso, Sinisterra, Somerville, Harrison. We'd have to lose more than 2 of them for it to really hurt us, I think. I think even if we can keep it down to 2 of the 4 leaving, I still think we've got 2 really good options there. Then you got Poveda, then you got Dan James, who I think are decent options at this level off the bench. I think they've been good in pre-season as well. I think that's okay if we can keep it down to 2. I think if we lose more than 2, I seriously will start to worry. I really do start to worry if we lose more than 2 of those 4. I think Nonso, though. Sorry, Hannah.
I think Dan James will do well in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree. This season's made for him.
I think he's looked really good in pre-season. To be honest with you, low key.
I know that's controversial, but I would.
Sorry, you cut out there, Hannah. Sorry.
Just on the Sinisterra thing, right? Because I know, like, he's probably our best player, isn't he? There's no question about it.
Definitely.
If someone with a decent bid, I would accept it just purely on the fact he's so injury prone. And when you go on in the Championship, I just think he'll miss more than half of it with injuries. I really do.
I think it's a bit unfair to say he's injury prone. He got a bad injury, and I think that's hampered him. And he hasn't been at the club long. But I think even in the games that he's played, he's been outstanding. And I'm talking like you could even go as far as to say we replaced Rafinha pretty well with Sinisterra.
Yeah.
So to have him in the Championship,
as well as you could realistically.
Yeah. I mean, Rafinha was just a total freak of a signing. Let's be honest. For 17 million, that was just insane. And I still don't think the club made enough money back on him. However, you know, to pick Sinisterra up, that was cracking business. You can't, you know, compensate for injuries. No one knows players are going to get injured. But the games that he's played in, he's looked like a serious player. And I'm talking like Champions League football player. The lad is stupidly talented. We are insanely lucky to have him, and I'll be massively shocked if him and Nonto are still at the club by the end of the transfer window. I agree. I think Somerville will stay on the promise that he plays in that number 10 role when he plays, and I think that's his for the taking. I think they'll say, look, that's yours, please stay. Harrison, I think, will be the 50-50 one. I think Nonto and Sinisterra will go, and I think they'll pray that they get the best out of Paveda and James. And maybe if Nonto and Sinisterra go, maybe they'll look to sign someone else. Maybe what's his face? Hamer, is it? I know there's talk about him going, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe it's like more of a natural 10. I'll just say one thing on Sinisterra though. I think there's two things to say. I hear what Hannah's saying in terms of the injuries. You know, the biggest thing for any footballer is availability. If they're only available half the season, it's not great, no matter how good they are. But Sinisterra, I think, as Paul kind of alluded to, scored 1 and 2 in the Premier League. If you score 1 and 2 at Premier League level for a poor Premier League side, if we're being totally honest, we were poor last season, then you can imagine what he can do at Championship level. I just think if we can get 30 games out of Sinisterra, he'll win us that many games. You know, listen, we might play less than that if he gets a bad injury or if the injury keeps recurring. I would 100% keep Sinisterra. I think I'd rather, because I go off the body language as well, which Paul kind of alluded to too, in terms of Nonto. Nonto's body language isn't great, if I'm being honest. I think you can't really fool Leeds fans if you don't want to be there. It doesn't look great off Nonto. First couple of games of pre-season, he's not looked like the usual fearless, head down, running at everyone, making things happen Nonto at all. It really in pre-season. I still think, obviously, if we can keep him, absolutely brilliant. But I'd probably look more at Nonto and say that's probably the player I'd let leave, because Sinisterra has given me quite good vibes in terms of he sounds like he wants to stay. Obviously, he's not going to say publicly, I want to leave, even if he does want to leave. But you know what I'm kind of saying. The reason I don't think a team's gone in for Sinisterra is the injury record. I think teams are looking at the fact that he only played, just over 20 games last season. Teams will look at that and think, because if you're going to pay 30, 40 million for someone, you're not going to pay 30, 40 million for someone who's got a recurring injury problem, no matter how good they are. So in a way, that could work in our favour. Well, that might just be being very, very optimistic, 2 days until the season starts, trying to give ourselves as much hopium as possible. But I do believe Sinisterra might be the one we can keep. I think Nonto will leave. I'll accept that one. Somerville, Harrison, maybe we'll lose one of them. But I do think Sinisterra we can keep. I really do. He just seems to be settled there now. And don't get me wrong, at the start of pre-season, I thought, no chance we keep Sinisterra. But I've got a bit of hope. Guys, in the comments, let us know. But seriously, Sinisterra stays fully fit next season. I could see 15, possibly 20 goals next season. Seriously, I think he's that good.
I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if he stays. I really will be.
I think the biggest thing in this league, as you pointed to Oscar at the start, is I think with a manager like Farke and his record and how he likes to play and how deadly Pookie was in his time and what type of striker Pookie was as well, his team were massively reliant on him and being at the focal point, and it was all around him. You know, it wasn't like we'd play 3 up top, you know, and have 3 deadly players. It was like literally, we need to get the ball to Pookie and he's going to do the rest. And I think that is, if we could keep that squad or even keep it but lose, you know, 2 of the ones that are probably going to go, I would spend every single penny we had on a striker. Every single penny on the most expensive striker that was willing to come to the club and say, that's all we need. And I'd just say, look, this manager has got the capability of building a steady squad with a good, he's got a great tactical brain, and he just needs someone to put the ball in the back of the net. And I'd be, look, honestly, the player that I would sign, personally, I know there are better players out there, but, you know, being realistic, is Joel Perreault.
I mean, Joel Perreault, he scored 20 goals back-to-back for Swansea in the mid-table in the Championship. He's Championship proven. And I think he's one of those signings you look at and think, he's as close to a guaranteed success I think you can get realistically for us, without signing someone like who's established in the Premier League. That's the most realistic signing we can get. And I think if we want to get promoted this season, that's the ambition I think we have to show. I don't know if you agree, Hannah. I think we have to show with one of the signings and produce a good start. I think we need 2 more signings, at least 2 more, in the left back 10 and centre forward that are seriously like, we need business kind of signings. I think Perreault, I totally agree with Paul. He took the words out of my mouth. That is, someone like that is what we need to be aiming for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. At the end of the day, if the owners don't want to stick about in the Championship, which we all know how hard that league is, let's be fair, like no one knows more than Leeds fans, they need to show some ambition, keep a few key players, keep Adams, you know what I mean, and get, it's a striker. It stands out. It's always been the case. I still can't believe we're still reliant on Bamford. We need a striker. It's so important.
Yeah, of course we do. I mean, we've gone 2 seasons now without signing a striker. We needed it like the season we stayed up. We really needed one then. We needed it in like January of 2022. We're going back like 18 to 24 months here that we needed a striker. It is absolutely crazy. But I can't see how in any world we don't sign a striker between now and the end of the window. I cannot see how we can't do it. We've got 4 weeks. Surely, if we start the season badly, even more so, there is no way we can't not sign a striker. I mean, listen, anything can happen in football, but I would be amazed and angry, probably I think would be the best words for it, if we did sign a striker. It'd be absolute madness and, you know, just chaos for our season if we did that. It could really, really come back to bite us. It almost did this season when we went up with Bamford. I know he scored 16, 17 goals that season, but could have easily cost us in the end. So let's move on a little bit. We're going to move on to position in the table, where you guys are at this moment in time. I don't know who wants to start first here. Does anyone want to start first? I mean, it's not... I really don't know. I can go either end of the scale that we pissed the league or we missed out on the playoffs. I seriously would be surprised either end of the scale. I've gone sort of in the middle, maybe a bit more towards having a good season. I've gone third because I was just thinking Farco. We've got someone who knows what he's doing at this level. Are we going to be able to compete with Southampton and Leicester? Hopefully, but if we don't get the signings in, I think we just miss out. I'm going to go third. If that's optimistic, it probably is a little bit. Guys in the comments as well, let me know. Someone's gone 14th. Jesus, that is how like unexciting it's been so far. But I do think we're going to have an all right season.
I think, to be fair, Oscar, you know, I know you can turn your nose but 14th, but you've seen it before. This league. And I know everyone will say, oh, these are favourites and they're favourites. Mate, anyone can beat anyone in this league. And you've seen it. You know, and it all starts out with, oh, they'll do well. They've just come down. They've got money. But it is true. It's relentless. So many players get injured. You're playing so many matches. And there's surprises every week. Like, how many times did you know, what about that time when, time after time when we've sat there and, like, lost his minds at being hammered by someone at home, and you just think, how the hell has that happened? It happens every season. It's very rare someone walks the league. And I think, like you say, it could be anything. I think Leicester have a guaranteed top spot if they keep Vardy, personally. I think he'll score 40 goals in that league. Just saying that. I think he'll tear it up. Ridiculous. But having said that, I think we'll finish 5th. As we are now, without a striker.
No, I think it's a striker. Striker, left backs 10. If we get recruitment right in those areas, there's no reason why we can't get top 2. And I think we will get top 2 if we get recruitment right in those areas. But I've got to go with the here and now. And I'm saying probably just miss out. I know what you're saying about the competitiveness, but I think you've seen the last couple of seasons, Burnley and Sheffield United last year, they pissed it really in the end. Certainly Burnley did. I think they did go up quite comfortably. I think if you get it right, I know what you're saying, there'll still be shock results no matter where you are on the table. But if you get the formula right, you get the recruitment right, you got the right manager in, try and play the right way, you can go to places like Millwall and get results, Birmingham get results, the more hostile grounds and do the business and not get soaked up in the atmosphere. I think you can go up quite comfortably at this league. I really do. If you get it right, you can go up quite comfortably. We did under Bielsa in the end. But the other end of the scale is if you get it wrong, you can end up like what Norwich and Watford were last season. And I think they ended up mid-table and they had parachute payments. It can easily go wrong. But if you get it right, I don't think there's any reason why Leeds can't push at the top end of the table. I mean, listen, if Leeds, theoretically, I know it's unlikely, if we keep Sinisterra, Nonso and Harrison, we should be able to beat most teams in this league just for having that kind of quality on the pitch. I think in the final third.
But who plays up front, mate? If we've no balance, and this is this is the bad point.
Striker as well.
But this is the bad point that you say now, right? This statement says it all. Who plays up front if Bamford's injured? So you're already saying that he's your number 9, and then you're already predicting that he's going to be injured. So do you know what I mean? We can't go on like that. We can't go on.
Oh, we've got to sign a striker, mate. There's no question about it. No question about it. But what I'll say is,
I don't think we will.
Oh, we can't. No, honestly, I'd be stunned if we don't. You really don't think we'll sign a striker?
I don't think we will either. I really don't. I think we're just going to be relying on Bamford.
That worries me, though. Seriously, if we do that, it worries me. Maybe it's just me trying to be over-optimistic, but I'd be so worried if we don't sign a striker.
I'm really worried about the mentality of the guys that have come in that may just turn around and say, do you think you can do this without us signing a striker till Christmas? Do you think we can? Because the other side of the coin is Bamford, Ruter, Gellert, Joseph, Perkins. We've actually got 5 strikers that we've invested money in and should be coming through and playing. So when you look at that, the argument will be where you've got a lad who took you to promotion, scored 17 goals in the Premier League. You've also got a lad that you paid 35 million for, who's supposed to be a fantastic player. Why do you need another striker? That could be the argument. And that scares me because we know the argument. We all know the argument. But look at it from like an owner's point of view. You've got millions and millions of pounds up front. That should be enough. Do you know what I mean? And when you look at it from that point of view, it's scary. And you think, God, that is a real possibility that they could just go, we're going to see how we go with that. Yes, we'll get your left back and we'll get Byram in because Fark likes Byram. We'll get him in for you. No problem at all.
That's the trouble.
Well,
that's what worries me a little bit as well.
Yeah, but he wants to play him as a left back, man. This is the danger. We know it as well. We've seen it. Players trying to play there. We had Dallas at left back for how long? Do you know what I mean? We've seen it with our own eyes. We've not had
to me. He's probably best left back for 15 years. To be fair, I mean that's the irony. Our best left back in the last 15 years wasn't even a left back. But listen, I hear what you're saying, Matt. I do hear what you're saying. But I think if there's any kind of drop off this first sort of 3-4 games where there's a little bit of doubt in there, I think we've got to. I really do. But listen, anything with Leeds doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me. But it'd be absolutely mad if we don't sign a striker because it's not just that. We haven't got a 10. We haven't actually got a 10 in the team, a natural number 10. We haven't got a Pablo in the team, have we? Hannah, we haven't got a Pablo in this team at this moment in time. And I think that's something that's missing there as well.
Like I say, I keep going back to the same point with the Championship, but it is brutal. But these are like some of these players here, like the Bamfords and that, they're 3 years older now than what they were last time in the Championship. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like there's nothing to say. And it was a different time then. It was Bielsa, it was all that. I just don't see with the squad that we've got And I know you're saying about the like Sinister and stuff, and with the injury problems and stuff, I don't see how we are gonna. People are just focusing as well on Leicester and Southampton. But what about Borough? Do you know what I mean? What about Middlesbrough, Sunderland? Do you know what I mean? It's not just them two. It wouldn't shock me if we don't finish in the playoffs. It really wouldn't. Striker, proven goal scorer, I might think different. But right now, as things stand, I don't think we will.
No, yeah, it's very true. It's very true. It just seems mad to me that we signed someone like Ampadu for 7.5 million, a midfielder of 7.5 million, which is quite a big investment at this level, and then we don't back it up. That's just absolute madness to me. And I think that's gonna, if that ends up costing us, that will put the 49ers on a really bad footing in terms of ownership of this club. And we've seen with the previous owners how not getting the transfer window right can have a domino effect and completely undo all the good work. And I do think we've got a good coach at this level. I think Farke, as well, what I really like about him is the fact that he gives young players a chance. I think we're going to see a lot of Cody Drama next season. Plenty of Archie Gray. Got massive hopes for Archie Gray, Charlie Creswell, Yelder, Joffrey Gelhart, Joseph, I think potentially, might have a decent shot of being sort of our impact sub, our impact striker next season. I just think you need a senior option in there up top. It's the most important position on the pitch. It's a striker for me. It's the most difficult position to play. And you need someone full of confidence. Bamford, off the back of last season, can he recover from that, the way last season finished? It was a bad one for him. Not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well, in terms of the criticism we received. Rutter, I mean, I personally think Jorginho Rutter is a really, really good footballer. I really think there's a lot of talent there. But I don't think he's a centre forward. I don't think he's a centre forward in any sense. I think he's a number 10. I mean, he needs to play behind the centre forwards or in a 2. I really don't see him as a lone centre forward at this level. And I just think it's putting yourself in a lot of jeopardy, personally. But let's see how it goes. Listen, there's still 4 weeks to go. Let us know in the comments, guys, what your thoughts are on it. I mean, at the minute, we're looking at a right back at left back, a number 10 up top, and a winger in the number 10. It's typical Leeds, isn't it, really, in that kind of sense? But moving on. I mean, how do you see us starting the season? So it's Cardiff at home, Birmingham away, West Brom at home, Ipswich away, first 4 games. I think that's certainly West Brom and Ipswich, I think quite a nasty first 4 games, that, where the pressure's on a little bit. I mean, how do you see that, Hannah? What kind of points would you put on that first 4 games?
I really don't. I think we might struggle. I bet people think I'm so negative, but I think we might struggle. But then, look, I'm just going back to the Borough thing last year. Look how they picked up midway through the season, I believe, wasn't it? Christmas or something for Carrick.
They started horribly, Borough.
But don't maybe read too much into it, because obviously we know what the Championship's like. It can soon change. But I'm saying this, I think we're going to struggle, but in my head, I'm going on Sunday thinking we're going to win, so it doesn't really make sense what I'm saying, but
we should still go into a game against Cardiff. I think that Cardiff finished 20th last season. We should be looking at Cardiff at home and thinking that's a big chance to put a bit of a statement out. And we should be. I'm not saying we will. I'm just saying we should be, surely, Paul.
But how many times do we go to games?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what the Leeds are like.
I don't think we will, by the way. I think it'll be a really horrible, horrendous, dreadful game of football, to be totally honest with you. I don't think Cardiff will look to play football at all. I think they'll sit in against us. Be a horrible 1-0 kind of game, I think. But, Paul, I mean, there's a chance there with Cardiff and Birmingham to put a bit of a statement, I would have said.
I think there always is, but again, the problem that we found out season after season in that league is everyone raises the game at Ellen Road, and everyone raises the game against Leeds because it's the eye-catching fixture. It's right when everyone's fixtures come out, they'll look to when they go into Ellen Road, and they do. Everyone just turns up. They want to give it their all, and you've got the worry is at the end we're coming off the back of relegation and players that just. They want up for it, well, let's be honest. And a lot of them players are still here. They are. And I know a lot of them have gone, and that's fine. But like we've said all night, we haven't really replaced those players with players, of any character. And I think
it's so underwhelming, hasn't it? Did either of you two expect we're coming to the 3rd of August, have 2 signings through the door, one of which was signed for 400,000, who I think is going to be a backup goalkeeper anyway, to be honest with you, unless something goes wrong with Melier again. And the other one, fair play, Ampadu, I think is a really nice, solid signing. I'm stunned that's all we've done so far. I'm not going to lie. I love to be optimistic. I would love to come on this now and say, we're going to HMS piss the league. We're going to break the points record in the Championship. We're going to score 100 goals next season. But I can't. I'm just amazed. I'm hoping we're going to pull something out the bag these next 4 weeks in the window. That's all I can hope for.
It's really different if we'd have signed a striker. You would probably be thinking totally different. That's how fickle it is. That's how you can change. I agree with you, but I think if we'd have signed a striker, a proven goal scorer, I think we'd all be saying totally different now.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if Perot was through the door, Jesus. I mean, imagine how optimistic everyone would be right now.
Yeah, I think, to be fair though, one thing I do like about this board is everything they've seemed to do has been under the radar. It's not like, we're doing a flight here and flight there and or doing pictures and Radrizzani talking to fans and things like that. It does all seem pretty quiet. So, it wouldn't surprise me if they announced 2 signings tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? They do seem quite cool like that, which is good. But I think it's very easy to get carried away in a transfer window. I've seen a lot of comments coming through about, no signings and this, that, and the other. Yeah, and they're in. But also, you got to remember that Farke, to be fair to him, has been way behind everyone else because of the takeover. Do you know what I mean? He got thrown in. He's still probably assessing that squad. And probably wants to
got the job.
You what, mate?
5th of July, he actually got the job. I mean, most teams have started pre-season by then.
That's what I mean. So, to be fair to him, if he's looking for signings, he's had, 4 weeks to decide who he wants to buy, And I think it's unfair to say, because obviously no one knows who's doing recruitment or anything like that at the club. So, it'll be a big, big decision. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if they said, right, let's see how the first few games go, then tell us who you need, then we'll go get them. I think it will almost have to be that because they'll also have to see who goes because it will be a case of, like, if we keep all those players, they will not buy a striker. They won't buy a striker.
What, even if we keep all the wingers?
No way.
I think listen, I'll just emphasise something here. Like, it probably sounded like I was having a massive go at the 49ers. All I'll say so far is I'm surprised all we've done so far is 2 signings. But 4 weeks ago, as Paul said, we've been very under the radar of what we've done so far. The manager search was for starters. I mean, Daniel Farke really came out of nowhere until the last sort of week before he was appointed. Ampadu came out of absolute nowhere as well. Caldano sort of came out of nowhere. It wouldn't surprise me we signed a striker and it's not Perot, to be honest. It would not surprise me either. Perot, to be honest with you, if you're talking 20 million, I think you can actually do better than Perot for 20 million if that's what Swansea wanted. Again, it's all paper talk, isn't it? I'm not going to lose my head on the 49ers until the last second of that window, until we see what's happened. Because as you say, if we lost all 4 wingers, if all 4 wingers suddenly turned around and said, fuck this, I'm not playing the Championship for a season, it could easily happen, then we'd have to sign wingers. We'd have to invest heavily on wingers. And if it's happened to be a case of they all stayed, we'd have to invest on strikers. So I think that might be an element of it. I don't know. It's just so confusing, Hannah, what we're trying to do. But it's absolutely mad, really, if you ask me so far.
It's the not known, isn't it? It's like everything's so under the radar and stuff. And I agree with what you were saying. Like, we could just come out tomorrow and have like 2-3 signings. Do you know what I mean? But it's just the not known. It gives me the most massive anxiety. But on the Dalot thing, I don't think he would have come, being second choice. I really don't. I don't want him to be second choice. I would like him to start over Meslier.
I think he'll have been told that if Meslier goes, he starts, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. I think that'll be it because they'll have got him in knowing or hoping that a big bid comes in for Meslier. That's probably what that is, and he's probably all right to be second fiddle. Do you know what I mean? But I think they will be expecting money to come from Meslier at some point. It wouldn't surprise me from some massive club that's just going to bench him.
Yeah,
but possibly. But do you not think Meslier was that bad last season? He's kind of put himself out of that kind of market now for the time being. He was that bad last season, second half of last season.
I don't, mate. I think it's because he's so young. This is one thing we forget about Meslier. He's so young, mate. When it comes to goalkeepers, you look at De Gea when he started at Man United, mate. He were absolutely shocking, and he what? And
no, I've got to give him
Meslier,
up on Meslier, by the way. I still think he's a really good young goalkeeper. I think he needed the rest, to be honest. He needed the time out of the team. There's no doubt about that. You know, the last 4 or 5 games when Robles came in, it had to happen. And he's had a pre-season now, had some time away. Let's be honest, for his age, what is he, 23 now? He's played an insane amount of minutes for a 23-year-old goalkeeper. Insane.
And under so much pressure, you know, you've got to remember, you know, in a struggling team in the Premier League, being a really young goalkeeper at what we would consider, and we are a big club, you know, but being in that situation and getting hammered, you know, even experienced goalkeepers struggle, mate. And I just think that Meslier has shown over the years how good he can be. And I think a club like, you know, I don't even want to say any names, but a big club might just turn around and go, "What, we can get Meslier for 20 million?" Well, it's peanuts in nowadays, isn't it? And what we're going to do?
20 million for Meslier. I think most of us would probably drive him there ourselves, to be honest. 20 million for a goalkeeper, for where we are now, is a lot.
Yeah, but I think that for his age and for his potential, I think there are clubs out there. Look what Chelsea did with that Kepa. You know what I mean? How much did they pay for him? And they were absolutely garbage. It was paid.
No, it's true. I agree with Hannah, though. Any kind of drop-off from Meslier from the off, then Darlow comes in for me. I do think that, but I'm kind of hopeful that he's kind of recovered from... I think he'll have less to do as well next season. We're hoping so. Jeez, he's got as much to do next season as what he did last season. We've got a big problem around, haven't we? But I think that will help him a little bit as well, that he's not got like Robin Koch and Diego Llorente, Rasmus Christensen in front of him. I think he's got actually solid defenders at this level. And he's got like... I think Creswell's the leader as well in the back line. I think he leads by example, the way he plays, physical.
He's such a leader.
I think that'll help Meslier as well, having someone like that in front of him. He's got Llorente and Koch are not leaders in any sense of the words at all. I cannot believe at one point Robin Koch was vice captain. That absolutely sums up everything that's gone wrong in the last couple of years. Honestly, and you saw it with the ones that left and deserted the ship straight away as soon as we went down, and we're trying to sort themselves out before we even got relegated. I mean, it's just absolutely laughable. But I think Creswell, that's probably the one thing that's going to be a massive boost this week, is seeing Creswell sign that new contract. That is absolutely brilliant news for us.
I love Creswell. He's on. I think he's got captain written all over it for me. For him, I just think he's great.
When they were at Millwall last season, I've seen our fans, you know, he didn't have the best of starts to his season at Millwall, and everyone were getting on his back, as us Leeds fans would do. But then he's gone through the season and matured, and he needed that season, you know, to get under his belt. I watched him for the under 21s, 23s, whatever you want to call them, at Ellen Road against Palace, I think it was, a couple of seasons ago. And him and Somerville were head and shoulders above everyone else. And you watch Creswell, and he is gonna be a proper centre half, and the club now need to look at that and say, right, Cooper's led us for all this time. You know, this is like a natural successor almost. Do you know what I mean? In terms of that, the captain bone of that, he could be a spine if they give him another season to progress. But I really think that he needs someone alongside him to guide him, and whether that is Cooper or Strike or whoever it might be, Ayling even, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but I really think that Creswell could be weirdly the signing of the season. Do you know what I mean? I really do. I think he'll be class this year.
Yeah, I think he'll help out. I think he'll transform our back line. To be so, I might sound like a bit of an exaggeration, but I think he's what the back line's needed for a long time. Was he ready for the Premier League? Maybe not, but I think at this level, the fact he's had that, it's a good. I mean, I don't like Millwall in any sense of the word, but that is a brilliant club to go out on loan on. Really, to toughen yourself up, become a leader. You're playing alongside experienced pros. He had a bad start. The fans were on his back, as you said, Paul. But I tell you what, when he came out of the team, the back end of the season for Millwall, their form dropped like a stone. They missed out on the playoffs. When he was in the team, he got a big injury at the back end of the season. They went from like 4th to 7th in like 4 weeks, something like that. He was a massive loss for him. I mean, Taylor Harbour-Bellis is getting mentioned. He had a great season at Burnley last season. I would absolutely love a back line of Creswell and Howard Bellis. Quite a young back four, back two, but I don't mind that. I'm not that fussed about the ages of the players and how experienced they are. It's more about the quality they've got. And I just think Creswell, he might only be 20, 21 this month, but he plays like he's 25, 26. He won't be able to tell he was 20 unless someone tells you. I mean, he just looks experienced. He looks like he just knows what he's doing at this level. And he can bully centre forwards. And that's what I really want to see from a Leeds centre half, Hannah. We've not seen it since Pontus Jansson, actually physical centre half at this football club.
Something on the Cresswell thing, I think the reason why I have like such high, like, I hold him in such like strong like regard is because how many times when like you're watching on the telly or you're at the games have we said that there's no like leaders on the pitch? We said it Mounds last season, didn't we? Where's Oscar gone?
He's gone for a wee, I think. I don't know, but yeah, you are right. I think
he's a leader, and like not last season, the season before. Oh, he's back now. I went to watch the under-23s quite a lot, and you could hear him like screaming and shouting.
I agree.
And it's just like there's amount of times I'm stood there and like I'm like, will like Ayling or Cooper just go and just bash someone's heads together? Because I'm not being funny. The last season we were like, there's no leaders. Cresswell has got a leader written all over it. I've seen it with like when he's played through the 23s. I know it's a different level, but you can hear him. Like you can hear him from like the top of the family stand. You know what I mean? And he's like screaming, and it's just like that's what you want. Like you say, Ayling and Cooper get it, not Cresswell gets it. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think he'll start. I really don't. I don't think he'll start next season.
I think he definitely does start. I've read in the comments that people don't think he starts neither, and I think he definitely starts.
Got another right-footed centre back. That's the big thing for me.
I really do. I really hope he starts.
But I think the only other thing they could do is play Ayling there. But I think that just they're giving. I don't know it's shirt numbers and stuff like that nowadays. But they're giving the number 5 shirt. He's just signed a new deal. I think he starts. I think it is a case with him now that he will. There'll have been talks like, look, he's got to play. He's got to play this season, otherwise he's off. He's had a roller coaster season at Millwall in not a great team. But Sean, and he's done enough to say, look, I've played Championship football. My club is now in the Championship. I come in to just be a bit part player. I think those talks will have been had, and I don't blame him neither, because I think he's only got to look at last season and go, I should have been here last season in the Premier League because I was better than most of the centre backs we had last season. So I definitely think he'll play. I think
it wasn't he. Didn't he? He wasn't very happy about going out on loan, was he? If I remember rightly.
To be fair, with the centre halves that we had, why would he have been happy? I mean, you only go on loan as a player. I mean, we all said at the beginning of the last season we needed to sign another centre half last season. We needed to sign a left back, and we needed a striker last season, and it never happened. So Cresswell then going out on loan and keeping Koch, just madness for me. Like, I mean, why he didn't get recalled, I don't know. I mean, even that was just like senseless, But I don't know.
I'll just go to this though. I mean, I did see the Rasmus own goal, and it gave me so much pleasure. Honestly, it gave me so much pleasure seeing that own goal he scored. Horrendous. He had an absolute stinker on that one. But oh my word, yeah, good finish though. Good finish, to be fair to him. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of comments saying that Struick's played on the right in the 2 centre backs, but I think the fact Creswell played that full 90 against Forest was quite big. The fact against Premier League opposition, he was trusted to play. I know it's only a friendly, but I thought that was quite telling. I don't think Charlie Creswell signs a new deal unless he's had some level of assurance. And the fact he is the only right-footed centre-back we've got right now, yes, if Harwood Bellis comes in, it might change things a little bit, or Nat Phillips. If Nat Phillips comes in, it might change things as well. But for the time being, I really do see Charlie Creswell as being one of the... I don't think you can even call him a breakthrough star because he's had a really good season at Millwall and we've already seen his quality, but I can see him getting regular minutes and moving on to that level and already being considered one of the leaders of the team. I really do think we're talking that level with him. And I think the fact it's the Championship, we're going to dominate the ball most weeks. A lot of teams are going to go long against us and try and be physical. I think you need someone like Creswell in there, that nastiness in there. Because look, Ampadu and Archie Gray, if that's the midfield. You've then got Drama, Stewart, Cooper, Yelder, Byram. It's not very physical, is it? Melier in goal. You need someone in there to kind of look after the other players almost, if you like. And it'll get underestimated that, but leadership is massive at this level. Massive at this level. You go to places like Millwall away, Birmingham away, Cardiff away, most away grounds. Everyone hates Leeds. Everyone hates Leeds. It's a cup final for most teams. You need someone who's going to be up for it in that kind of sense, up for the fight almost. I just think Charlie is that man.
You see, when we had Vinnie Jones, just as an example, Vinnie Jones wasn't the most talented footballer in the world.
No.
But what he did was he had what I would call a Leeds United mentality. And with Cresswell, I see that. In the 23s, no striker wanted to be anywhere near him because he'd go through the back of you. He'd never scared to head a ball. And he for all that he is a good player, he kind of he does enough by just being, listen, I'm going to fight for absolutely everything. The crowd will love him. He's the kind of player that the crowd will get behind because he will give 100% in every single game. He'll put his head in where it hurts. And that is the kind of thing we need in this league to say, look, that's what we're going to be about this season. We're going to be horrible. We're going to be horrible to beat. And if you want to come here and you want to win, you're going to have to do it the hard way instead of being flaky and easy to move around, like last season. Oh my God. He'll be like, look, if you want to beat us, then you're going to have to get through me. And that's, I personally think that's great. And if Adams stays and keeps fit and you've got Adams and Ampadu in front of that, in that area, you kind of think, that's good. I know you mentioned number 10 earlier, Oscar.
Isn't it? It's more Leeds like what you associate with the Leeds back line and midfield, really. It's physical. Might not be the most technical in the world, but it's physical and will do what it needs to do at this level. But, guys, I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to finish us off with one last little bit. So I've kind of already given a quick prediction where I think we'll finish in the league. So one off you two. League finish, where you think you'll finish. You have to put a number on it. Top scorer for Leeds, player of the season for Leeds. Who wants to go first?
Hannah.
A top scorer? Christ. I don't know how I'm going to pick a top scorer. I think we're going to finish... I'm trying to... 6th. I'll say 6th. Top scorer. Oh, I don't know about that one. Well, it depends if we bring anybody in, but based on the team that we've got now, if he's fit and we keep him, Sinistera, I think Oscar's gone again.
Is that enough? Bless him. Oscar!
I don't know how you can pick a top scorer in that team, to be quite honest.
I don't think the top scorer is in that team yet. Well, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't think the top scorer is going to be there yet.
Still having this conversation, though. It's just like...
Faking it.
We're going to have this conversation about getting a striker. It's frustrating.
Probably another 5, I would have thought.
Is
he? Camera died on me there. Sorry about that. So I'm back on the potato. It's always good to have a backup. Hannah, I apologise about that. Sorry. Can you remind us there what your predictions were for league finish, top scorer, player of the season?
Right. Okay. So I think we're going to go 6. I'm going to go 6th. Top scorer. I find that very hard to pick, to be quite honest. I'll say if he's fit and we keep him, I'll say Sinistera. And player of the season, I'm going to go with Cresswell because I think he's a special.
I love that. How amazing would it be after the last couple of seasons that we've had in terms of conceding goals if a defender won player of the season? But I think it could happen this season. I really do think Cresswell is a good shout. I think Drama as well is a decent shout next season. I think if he really gets into his zone and he's already shown what he can do at this level. I mean, I think both have got a good shout. Paul, what are you saying, mate?
Right, so I'm going on the fact that we do score and sign a striker. because
yes.
I'm just hoping that
I've won you round. We will sign a striker, mate. We will. I'm telling you. We will get it sorted. I'm not saying it'll be a good striker, but we will sign a striker.
Antonucci. I'd take Antonucci, mate. I think he's class.
We have to take Luciano Becky out of retirement. I can get it done.
Yeah. Right. So, I'm going to go with the hope that we sign a striker, and if we do, we finish second to Leicester. That's what I think. If we sign a striker, I think it'll be a very, very close battle for third. And I know we mentioned before about we should do the three that are going down as well, because we mentioned that before. But anyway, So, player of the season, I think, will be Somerville, and top scorer will be the striker that we sign, and I do think it will be Joel Perreault. You know, if he hadn't already gone, they were meant to talk of him going somewhere else. I hope he hadn't. But I'm going to say it, Joel Perreault. If I get that right, then amazing. Yeah, Joel Perreault for top scorer.
I love that. I mean, I'll be honest. I actually went the same. So I went third. I went third in the table. I've gone Sinisterra or Perreault if we signed him, top scorer, player of the season, Sinisterra. Or if he stays fit and stays at the club, obviously. But all right, we'll do the three relegated. I'm just trying to think what I went for now.
Mine are really easy.
Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR, I think I went for. I think I did go 2 Yorkshire.
3 Yorkshire for me, mate. 3 Yorkshire. Yeah. Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham and Huddersfield. Bye. Yeah.
I would love Warnock to go down. If his last job is relegation, that would be outstanding.
How good would that be?
Unreal. That would be absolutely unreal. He would retire before they went down, though. He would not have that on his CV, because that's just the way Warnock is. Hannah, what are you saying?
Chef Word, QPR, Rotherham, maybe.
Yeah, same as me. I just think Chef Word, I think we've all said Sheffield Wednesday. I think they are in absolute disaster mode, aren't they? They have just self-imploded before the season even started. I mean, sacking Darren Moore was absolutely madness. I just think Rotherham haven't got enough, and QPR stayed up by the skin of their teeth last season. Have lost some really good players as well. So yeah, I think that's. But I'm glad that we've all gone top 6, because at first I thought the way everyone was talking, I think we were all going to go 10th or 12th or something for Leeds to finish. But yeah, I feel better after this conversation. I feel better. Do you guys feel better about the season, or not, or worse?
I don't feel very good about Chris Kelly's comment about did Perreault score 450 goals.
Chris Kelly. I love CK. I love CK. And this one did make me laugh.
Give up with the overhyping. Mate, no. Come on.
This one, not because of the prediction. It's the last bit of it's how deeply Chris has thought about this. 9th top scorer Coops with 4 own goals. Player of the season, no one, because there won't be an awards night. To be fair, we've not had an awards night for 2 seasons now on the bounce. I mean, if we make it 3 on the bounce, Jesus. But yeah, and this is another shout out Archie Gray, young player of the season. A few people have said that. I really do see that. Especially time ago.
I think we've got a little gem on our hands there with him, mate.
Yeah, I think he looks like he's. Everyone says he's lightweight, but I don't see that at all. I think he's really handled himself fine at Hearts away. I mean, it's quite a physical game. It was a physical game. He handled himself fine and was one of the best players on the pitch. But guys, we'll leave it there. There's plenty more content to come, so do keep it posted. There's a couple more pre-records coming out, probably later on tomorrow morning, and then obviously. Fancam is back as well. We're allowed to do Fancam again. We won't go too much into that because that was an absolute drama for no reason. But it wasn't our fault, guys. It wasn't our fault, that one. But we just got its back. It will be back Fancam next season. Our most popular video. Tash, can't wait to do it. Full house as well. Hopefully we'll be banging atmosphere. It will be a banging atmosphere no matter what. And yeah, it is all back. And the car post-match reaction as well. People like it when I do it in the back of the car, reaction to the game. Hopefully it'll be a happier one. But yeah, we'll be plenty of stuff coming out, and we'll try and be more optimistic this season, I think. I've spoken Paul around. I'm not sure I've spoken Hannah around, but we will sign a striker. Trust me, guys. We will sign a striker. We'll see. We'll see. Or you can come back to this video and just shout at me if we don't. You know, it is an option as well. If it makes you feel better, you can do that as well.
I am very, very, very wrong. I really do hope I'm very wrong.
I do as well, honestly. We lose Sinister and Nanto. I don't think I'll bother turning up on Sunday.
Mate, I think Dallas will end up playing up front. He's that kind of man, isn't he? He'll just win and bang 40. Probably.
Got 20 goals, to be honest. He just does the job anywhere. But yeah, anyway, guys, let's leave it there. I've been Oscar. To the left has been Hannah. And through the middle has been Paul Wilson. And we will leave it there, guys. See you later. Hit that subscribe button as well. And the like button too. It massively helps us. Cheers, guys.